certain stage, and that concludes the decline in the birth rates according to Dalton. So the relationship between the birth rate and death rates that changes particularly, with respect to the economic development in any country through the different stages of population growth. There are various stages are there when we talk about the demographic transition theory. So stages of demographic transition theory, it refers, as I said, changes in fertility and mortality accompany the changes of society in its economy, particularly describes the transition from the high birth rate, death rates, and low birth rate and death rates over a period of time when we observe. There are, different stages of, demographic transition theory, particularly. These stages, sometimes we call it as population cycle. The stages of the demographic transition theory, we call it as population cycle or demographic transition. These stages are particularly, divided on the basis of distinctive forms interaction between the birth rate and death rates in the country that results in the population of countries, whether the country increase or decrease of or stable, we can come to know easily. So, as I said, there are different stages, particularly three stages. In the first stage, what will happen, the death rate and birth rates? When we look at this point of view, in this stage, both the birth rate and death rates are very high. In the first stage, birth rate and death rates are very high because of poor diet, because of primitive sanitation, because of absence of medical aid. These are the reasons for high death rates and high birth rates. Why there is a high birth rate and death rates? There are various reasons, as I said. Poor diet system, primitive sanitation, and absence of effective medical aid. So it also refer to the pre-transitional stage taking place for the pre-industrial societies. People know the birth rates are very high. That leads to strengthening the particularly because of the illiteracy, absence of knowledge about the family size and family planning, and also unable to get these planning family planning techniques. Early age marriages also one of the reason to increase the birth rates and early marriages, and along with that, social beliefs and customs about the size of the people. Generally, in villages, people think higher the family size, they feel better the life. So, so this is adversely affecting the their economic life, as we have seen. So the high fertility is desirable to in order to replace losses from the infant and child mortality to economic advantage and larger the family, as we have seen. Here in first stage, there are three stages are there. In first stage, birth rates and death rates are very high because people are illiterate. That is the reason why birth rates are increasing, because people are early age marriages that leads to increase the population, and the absence of family planning that is also leads to increase the family size. So on the other hand, as I said, death rates also increasing. Why death rates are increasing? because in these countries, particularly, poor diet is one of the reason, and primitive sanitation they are using, absence of no medical facilities or medical aid. These are the pre-transitional stage taking place and pre-industrialization process. So this is the reason why death rates also increasing in a uh, faster stage that we have to observe. And the second stage, that early expanding stage. Second stage is the early expanding stage. It refers to as a shifting like traditional stage which take place in the societies. In this stage, birth rates are remaining high, but death rates are slowly declines rapidly. Because in this stage, as I said, birth rates are remaining high and death rates are decreasing rapidly, because this leads to accelerate the population, because population increasing like anything, but at the same time death rates are decreasing. So population growth is very high. That is the reason why we are telling accelerate the population growth in the second stage. The decline in the mortality is largely due to, mortality rate is declines, but in the first stage, it increases. So in the second stage, mortality rate is decreases largely due to, improvement in the public health services. This is the reason why death rates are decreased. And the high growth potential is the first stage is released, and in this also same growth rates is increasing. This growth rate is related to the birth rate. Birth rate growth is increasing and death rate growth is declines rapidly because of improvement in the medical public health services in the country. So that is the reason why the death rates are decreased. And also, when we observe all around the development, which including improvement in diet, transportation, and supply of food regularly, and development of severe systems and clean water supply, and recognition of personal hygienic contribute. This all declines the incidence of infectious of diseases that decreases. They are providing improvement or proper diet food and transportation system also there, and supplying of food that is also good, and clean water supply they are providing, so that no this declines the various diseases in the particular area or country. So advancement in the medical field, particularly when there is a advancement in medical system in the country that prevent the infections or diseases, lower death rates. It reducing the death rates due to advancement in the medical field in this second stage. See, in the second stage, once again I'm telling, birth rates are increasing, death rates are decreased largely rapidly because of uh, better improvement in the public health services. That is the reason why death rates are decreased. Though that is the reason why we are telling acceleration of population growth. Death rates decreasing, birth rates increasing. So that is the reason why we are telling accelerates the growth of the population of the country. So another stage which we call it as third stage, it refers to the uh, post-transitional stage, which takes place in modern societies. The growth of industrialization started, migration from rural to urban areas, and increasing the urbanization, factors or areas which bring about the fall in the birth rate, fall in the birth rate. Since the death rates are uh, very low, the population growth rate eventually declines in numbers. This stage characterized by low birth rate and low death rates and small size and lower growth rates of the population we can observe in third stage. Just imagine third stage. There are post-traditional system happened, taken place. What does it mean? No, people are very advanced. They shifted from rural area to urban area. Growth of industrialization is spreading. So people, everybody getting employment opportunities, getting income levels. They are migrating from rural to urban areas, and they know what are the reasons or what are the problems when there is a more population in the family. So that is the reason why they declare the population growth declines or the birth rates decreases. At the same time, as I said, death rates also, the second stage itself declined, in this stage also declines. Population birth rate declining in the third stage, death rates also declining. So this, characterized by low birth rate and low death rates, particularly, small size of the family and low growth rate of population, we can observe in the third stage. This is, demographic transition theory, three stages. Once again, I'm repeating this because very important topic. In the first stage, there are, birth rates and death rates are increasing. Why birth rates are increasing? Early marriages, unawareness of the family planning, and also, the planning techniques are not using in a proper manner. So they are using, customs, methods, the beliefs, family size, and towards the children's. If their size of the family is more, children's more, they work in the field or they get income. They think like that, but in the that is adversely affecting their family at the same time for the development of the country. So the not only that, uh, pre-traditional stages that taken place, pre-industrialization societies are there, and also there is a poor diet system was there, and primitive sanitations and absence of effective medical aid also not there. So this is first stage, and the second stage, population growth increasing, but to decrease the death rates, rapidly, because there is a proper improvement in the health services. So that is the reason why death rates are declines. But it's still population is increasing, means the birth rates are increasing. So in the second stage, we are telling accelerate of the growth of the population in the country. So third stage, as I said, death rates comes down, birth rates also comes down, because pre post transitional stage, that means, the growth of industrialization is increasing, and so that, people are migrating from the rural area to urban areas. Urban area is increasing, and they're getting better uh, facilities, and it may be sanitation or drinking water, medical facilities, everything they are getting betterment. So that is the reason why decreasing the death rates, decreasing the population. So in this stage, we characterized or we can observe birth rates are uh, very low, and the death rates also very low. The family size low, and the growth rates we can conclude in this third stage, growth rate of the population uh, decreases. So when we observe, what are the reasons behind the explosion of the population explosion? What are the reasons? When we observe particularly uh, various factors that influence the population explosion, and predominance of agriculture sector. One of the important reason behind that, uh, predominance of agriculture. So as we have seen, particularly, uh, developed countries and the developing countries, there is a huge differentiation between the engaging of the people in agriculture sector. So developing countries are most of the people, around above the 50% of the people are engaged in agriculture sector. So, and also the children are considered the source of their income, and the income, but not they feel, burden. Hence, the people like they have more children. What they think that the family size, if more children are there, they their income also increase because the children are the sources of earning income in agriculture sector. This is, one of the reason for increasing the uh, or causes for the high birth rate in the developing countries or any country. So another one, when we talk about slow pace of urbanization. Slow pace of urbanization. What does it mean? Urban areas and cities are the cost of living is very high, and people have to know more children. That particularly in India, urbanization is slow pace. Due to slow urbanization, people are not considering having more children as a burden. So this is also one of the reason to increase the high birth rate in the country. Poverty also one of the reason for increasing the birth rate. So here the families, when we come across the children's, as I said, children are the main source for the income of the family, because at lower income, low level of benefit, and having additional children exceed the cost of its upbringings. Muhammad, Madani, remarked and identified the problem. People are not poor because they, have large families, and quite controversy, and because they have large size of the families, and because they are poor. People, they think that large family, they get better opportunities, and the children, if they in the family is more, they engage in agriculture sector, and they'll get income from their family purpose. So here, that is one of the drawback and reason to increase the high birth rate of the country. Climate conditions also climate conditions also influence to increase the birth rate. As India falls in a hot climate zone, as we have seen, due to no hot climate and maturity that comes early age, and no boys and girls, due to which they give birth to the children as a early age. So this is also one of the reason to increase the population birth rate, or increase the population, or increase the birth rate. So that leads to population explosion, we can see due to the climate conditions. Another reason, when we observe, particularly low age of time of marriages. As in India, there is a tradition to child marriage system that is prevalent. Marriages around, particularly in India, 80% of the girls in the country that took place at their young age, particularly between 15 to 20 age, they are going to be get married. So this is one of the reason at lower age time they are getting marriages, and that leads to increase the population of uh, the country. So these couples particularly have long marriage and married life, ultimately that resulting the excessive children's, there is a scope to excess the population. So Lower age at the time of marriage also leads to increase the birth rate of the country. And another reason beyond the increasing of the this population, desire for male and children, male children. When this is one of the Hindu religion, and the people believe that son perform rituals at death of the parents, and uh, that continues to have children till they get get male uh, with irrespective of their economic conditions. This is one of the drawback for increasing the population growth. In the same manner, particularly, we feel Muslims also, both male and female child is boon sent by Allah. So the prevention of their birth by using and means of family planning is a sin. So they are unable, they are ready to take family planning because they feel it is a sin. So due to these reasons, particularly because Allah is giving male and female child as a boon sent by the Allah, and at the same time it is sin for the no for family planning. So due to these reasons, the population continuously, increase more. And also, if you observe, illiteracy and unawareness is major reason for increasing the population of the growth, population explosion. See, when we observe this particular point of view, what are the reasons behind the population explosion? Illiteracy, education changes attitude of the people towards the family size and early marriages by no and birth of children, and illiterate people. They do not have rational ideas about the size of the family. Blindly, they increase the size of the family, and in India, still around 80% of the male and 34% of the females are illiterates in India. So neither they have full knowledge of family planning, and they are not know about the consequences, what will happen if there is a large size of the family. They are unaware due to no awareness of the unawareness of the this size of the family. That is also one of the reason to increase the population of the uh, country. So these are the reasons for rising the population, illiteracy and unawareness. Along with this, joint family system also influence for increasing the population growth of the country. Joint family, how it is influencing, increasing the family size, and how it is contributing to increase the population growth. The burden of, when we observe joint family system, the burden of maintaining children is, borne by earning, member of the family, and these indices, young couple of, particularly they have no children, and so they are unable to maintain them. Though this is the reason the emergency of individual family system in recent times, the positive sign in this regard. They have identified what are the reasons, what are the problems behind that. So that is also one of the reason giant family system also. And the another what are how to control this this, and what are the causes for low death rate? When we observe what are the reasons for low death rates, when the death rates are decreasing means population is increasing, right? So here, elimination of famine. When we control the famine and all these diseases, particularly during the British rule, when we observe the families are, major causes of, high mortality rate was there in India, particularly since after the independence, India uh, striving for, elimination of, famine and tackles the droughts in the country, which, try to reduce the death rates in the country considerably. So when we, eliminate the famine, that directly or indirectly we can reduce the uh, death rates of the uh, country. And control of epidemics, cholera, as we know that cholera, smallpox, malaria, which are, major causes of epidemics. So in India, before independence, these are very serious, epidemics in India. Smallpox was, when we over a period of time eradicated completely this smallpox. Cholera and malaria also very much control in India. Due to this uh, decline from death rates are declined, particularly 48% in 1921 to 7.1% in 2011. In 2011, the birth rates was 21.8%, but death rates are comes down, in a quick manner. Another one of the reason for low death rate is other factors also influencing to control the death rate. What are the other factors? See, when we observe uh, drinking of water facility, if there is an improvement in the drinking water and supplying of this drinking water and health facilities if they provide and spread of the education system in the country and reducing the poverty and eradication measures. This indicates or this increases the living standard of living of the people, and that help the reducing of the death rates in the India after the independence particularly. So here the due to the above increasing gap, as I said, between birth rate and death rates that results in the population explosion in the country. So how to control the population? What are the measures we have to take to control or to reduce the population in the countries like India? There are various reasons are there when we observe, particularly to control the population growth. Important measures which have taken to control the population. So one of the important one is industrial development. Industrial workers are aware about the difficulties of getting employment and the cost of bringing up their child, and they restrict the size of the family. They know the problems. These industrial workers, they know the size of the family is larger. What will happen? What are the conditions they have to face? What are the difficulties they have to face? They are aware of that. So industrial workers, particularly, they are more customs and standard of about their standard of living and their rising standard of living. They restrict the size of the family, and hence that people are particularly employed, and the industrial sector in this are less children and a small family. Whenever there is a improvement in the industrial sector, that leads to control the size of the family because they know the difficulties if the family size is large. That is the reason why if we develop the industrial development, that controls the population growth in the country. That is one side. And the another reason, removal of the poverty. As you know, poverty is one of the major cause for the population increases. It is to be remove, particularly this poverty. When we control the poverty, that leads to control the population also. So once poor people are provided with basic amenities and life, they will not have more children because they also get awareness. Their attitudes, particularly towards the size of the family, and they try to reduce the size of the family with conscious retaining his standard of living. They maintain the family of the size of the family. They feel comfort of their for themselves and for their children when we remove the poverty in the country. So along with that, spread of the education system also, control the population size. These are the measures we have to take, or these are the initiatives we have to take and control the growth of the population. So spread of the education, how the education, control the population. As we have seen the changes, particularly towards the population, uh, the size of the family and marriage. Educated people, they delay marriage. Educated people, they prefer small size of the family. So they respond, to idea of family planning also. So when we provide education, proper education to the people, they get awareness so that they try to get marriages late, and they try to get small size of the family. They try to get they get an idea particularly about the family planning. So if this is done, then automatically that leads to control the population size. So another important one is improvement or improving the status of the woman, improving the status of women. In backward societies, when we observe the women do not, exercise their, discretion about the number of children and they should have. They don't have, any have. So when the women are viewed, inferior to urge, particularly for male child goes up and female continues to know children till they get male, and the child resulting in large size of the family. So that is also one of the reason to control the uh, family size. So if particularly these women, if we are given equal status to them, then men and the size of the family, that automatically decrease the size of the family. So improving the status of the women, we have to create awareness that leads to decrease the growth of the population in the country. Along with that, when we come across another important point is family planning program. Family planning program that creates awareness among the reproductive age group couple and know about family size, about contraceptions and clinical facilities, and they provide incentives to them for avoiding the children that will help reducing the birth rates. So these are the various reasons to control the population growth. What are the reasons or what are the measures? Industrial development, if we consider or happen, that leads to decrease the population growth. If we remove the poverty in the country, that leads to control the uh, population growth. If we create or we awareness about the education, the spread of the education in the country, that leads to control the population. If we improving the status of the women, particularly that leads to background societies with uh, that also leads to decrease the size of the family. And family planning that creates awareness that leads to family size, and that no they know what are the issues or what are the problems with large size of the family. The clinical facilities, if they provide and providing some incentives, those are having small family size, government is providing some incentives. If we provide this type of facilities, automatically we can avoid the children that leads to reducing the birth rate of the country. That we can observe. Demographic dividend. This is very important topic. Demographic dividend. What is demographic dividend? Whether this demographic dividend will help to the country or not. See, the demographic dividend we can define rise in the uh, rate of growth of due to rising the share of working age people. The growth rate is rising just because of rising the share of the working people or working age of the population. This leads to this is we call it as demographic dividend. Falling the birth rate, consequent shift in the age structure of the population that leading to rise the adult working age population that take place. We also known as demographic bonus. This is demographic bonus or demographic window because the benefits occurs to the economy due to rise in the working age people or a working age population. The population in this age group, particularly 15 to 64 years. So and a decline in the below 15 and above 64. So demographic dividend that is expected to occur when the dependent population is declining. Dependent population is declining. That leads to certain benefits to the economy. That is we call it as demographic dividend. Why we are telling how it is benefit to the economy when the population growth is increasing. This increasing population, particularly at the age group, is 15 to 64 between their age group. Below age group is decreasing above and above 64 also declines. So this leads to what will happen that expected no when the dependent to family or population is comes down, dependent family sizes decreases, that leads to certain benefit to the economy because working population is more in the country, so that it leads to increase the benefit to the any economy when there is a no working population is there. So what are the expected benefits and what are the bane and not more when we talk about what are the benefits, particularly increase the saving rate because working population is more due to transition in the age structure of the population. The ratio of working people, working population to the total population is increasing. So dependent population is decreases. So that means the surplus income is available with them. So that leads to rising the savings and investment. That is one side of the benefit. When there is a decline in the fertility, women enter into the labor market that leading to increase in the economic activities. That leads to increase the economic activities. As we know, when there is a decline in the fertility, women enter to the labor market and that leads to increase economic activities in the country or in the in their family size. So that is also benefit when there is a economic dividend. And another one, when children are less the size of the family, or the small investment will be more on health, education, that leading better productivity and economic benefit to the households. When there is a small children, or what we can say, the size of the family is very small. So the family can invest more on their health, more on their children's education. Okay, better productivity will be no will come, and that leads to economic benefit to the households when there is a size of the family is very small. This is also one of the benefit when there is a demographic dividend in the country, or when the working class people are there in the country. So another important one is government is spending on productive activities. Particularly, there is a decrease in the public spending on health, education due to decrease in the child number. So just imagine the government spending productive activities. Government is providing productive activities. So there is a decrease in the public spending on health education because the family size is very less. If the family size is large, government has to take more initiatives. Government has to spend more money on health, on education if uh, the size of the family increases. But when we are telling the size of the family is decreasing, so automatically it is not a burden for the government. They can, spend on a health education because due to decreasing in the children number, that is also one of the benefit. And a demographic ban, not boon. See, when we observe around 1.2 crore of youth are entering into the employment market every year in the country. Almost 1.2 crore of the young generation is getting employment market, and so most of them are lack of adequate skills. Only 10% of the people are vocational training, and that also not related to their skills. Millions of young people are joining the workforce in India, so that India will more than 100 million people are working age by 2025. So when we are talking about the distribution of age changes that creates supply side of the potential and describe the uh, about these situations. So when we observe the obstacles that may be uh, come uh, the way of demographic window due to demographic dividend. Conversation growing the labor force into the quality workforce needs to minimum level of investment on education and health. India is facing major deficit in their regard, and India is experiencing jobless growth in the era of liberalization. According to CP Chandrasekhar, demographic dividend argument ignores the fact that available workers are not automatically to the deliver the growth. That means what engaged people or working class people are they are not automatically deliver the growth. So automatically it is drawback to the country. So most of the India's population, you know, bulge is unskilled and also unemployable. And this market will be do nothing, particularly the make of population skill and employable. So without employment opportunities, this window particularly would be insignificant for any country, particularly when there is a population is working class is more. So UN, United Nations Population Fund, has given a statement on World Population Report by 2005. asserted that the lack of education and employment of women that prevents the countries to use this window. As the working class people are, or young people are above 15 and to 65 years, and above 65 they are that is decreased, the rate of that growth is decreased, that is fine. But according to the UN, United Nations Population Fund, they have clearly mentioned lack of education system is there in the country, and employment also, particularly for women, that prevents the countries to use this window. So that is also one of the drawback. So India will gain from particularly demographic opportunities if the policies and programs are aligned, and demographic shift, particularly to be noted, and demography is not in the uh, destiny side. So this is all about the uh, demographic dividend. Another important topic, balanced growth strategy. See, balanced growth, unbalanced growth, unlimited supply of labor. These are the growth theories. Here, the balanced growth, at least two different meanings are there when we observe. In macroeconomics, balanced growth occurs when output and capital stock grow at the same level. That is balancing. In development of economics, the balanced growth refers particularly simultaneous coordinated expansion of several sectors. That is balanced. So that's balanced growth. That means achieving economic growth by making simultaneous investment in the several sectors. We have to balance all the sectors by investing the investment in all these sectors. So the balanced growth theory, which is explained, with the view of Rodestin Rodin, Ragnar Knox, and Arthur Lewis strategies. So when we talk about the big push theory, Paul Rodestin Rodin, he has written an article, particularly problems of industrialization of Eastern and Southeastern Europe in the year 1943. He explained about the issue, which is has given importance of investment in several sectors at a time. He treated as investment is one sector as a private investment, and investment in several sectors as time of social investment. So social marginal product of social investment is more than the private marginal product of private investment. Rodestin Rodin, opined in that several sectors at a time to be preferred. Same time, we need to invest different sectors. Further, he said balanced growth strategy by giving an example of shoe industry. If the investment made in only shoe industry by employing around 20,000 workers, the market for only shoe industry is provided if the workers spend on only shoe. If investment made in different sectors, the market for all the sectors is provided, which expands the economy by paying way of more growth, particularly this way, called as balanced growth. The idea behind this, uh, that the big push. At a time, we need to put the investment in different sectors. So that leads to comprehensive investment package can be that leads to helpful for particularly bringing economic development of the country. In other words, when we talk about the minimum amount of resources must be devoted for development programs that success the programs that requires. Another important one is Ragnar Nuts, Fish Circle Poverty. Ragnar Nuts, is stressed for the development of the growth or balanced growth strategy. He gave reasons for the same. He says that underdeveloped countries or less developed countries, they face vicious circle poverty, and to overcome from this vicious circle poverty, an investment in several sectors is at a time is very necessary or very good for the country, according to. So he identified the vicious circle from the demand side and supply side. So we need to utilize resources these sides. As demand side vicious circle poverty, according to Ragnar Knights, when we observe underdeveloped countries, particularly, they have no low level of per capita income. I have seen, we discussed the characteristics of less developed countries or underdeveloped countries. So here, the under the developed countries or underdeveloped countries, they are having a very low per capita income and low demand, low investment. Due to low per capita income, there is a low demand for their products. Due to low demand, their investment also very low. So particularly in different sectors. So when there is a low investment means the capital formation also very low, low productivity. These are the hence low income, again generating low income only. So this happens in a circular way, particularly in less developed countries. This is that is the reason why these are the vicious circle poverty. This is for demand side. But when coming to the uh, supply side, vicious circle poverty or vicious circle from the supply side, when we observe, uh, see various circles again, demand side, as I said, vicious circle from the supply side also there. Start with low income, that end with the same low income only. Low level of per capita income people, they save very less amount of money. That leads to no very low investment, again low per capita or low capital formation and low productivity due to low capital formation. Hence, their income also very low due to the supply side of the vicious circle. This happens particularly circular way, and due to this there is a lack of or vicious, there is a problem particularly for underdeveloped countries. So vicious circle from the utilization of resources side, that is more important. Even though underdeveloped countries, Ragnar Nax, according to him, no, they are having abundant natural resources. These countries particularly lack of potential in the form of physical and human capital. And also, they are using, technological. So, so that, if they use, utilize, proper resources, initial stage of development, and they use resources at minimum level of the lead, and which leads to low income. They are unable to use properly what they have, the natural resources. And when we breaking the vicious circle, Professor Nax, as I said, he making investment in several sectors at a point of time. At same time, he gave as a shoe industry, for example, as Ruston given. But Max explained the example in detail. He says if investment made in other sectors, that also along with the shoe industry, the workers on the industry not only become the customers of the same industry, but they become the customers of the other industry. If you develop other industries, that people also purchase the shoes. This, he calls creation of complementary demand. These other sectors purchase the shoes. They expand the size of the market to achieve the growth of the, any country. So he explained how the vicious circle poverty operates both supply side and demand side through the capital formation. He next has, put forward the doctrine of the, balanced growth in order to break down of the vicious circle poverty, particularly on the demand side and the capital formation side. It will helpful particularly for, uh, have gain a custody look into the various circles. When there is a high situation of, productivity that leads to greater employment opportunities, that and high income and high purchasing power of the people, that will provide, profitable field to the investment. So it is said the size of the market can be enlarged by lowering the price of the products, but this is not the solution problem. What the reality solution problem, the only increase the productivity of the people by raising the productive employment. When we create employment opportunities, automatically their purchasing power increases. So they can, purchase. There is a demand for the products, investment will increase, their income will increases, savings also increases. So lack of, owing to the lack of, capital, productivity is low, as I said. Since productivity per capita of worker also very low, the per capita income is low, which means again it leads to increase the poverty in the country. This is how the vicious circle poverty operates underdeveloped countries. So according to NACS, it is, vicious circle operating in the underdeveloped countries, which stands for the, their economic development. That is more. So that is the reason why if we, this vicious circle can be broken, economic development will follow. So expansion of, an industry particularly that help the expansion of other sectors all around the growth. This is how, difficulty arising from small size market to overcome and, obstacles in the way of economic growth that clear. This is the way of, capital investment in the particular different sectors that that is, according to Ragnar Nax, called as, balanced growth. The aggregate demand increases due to, automatically the, simultaneous investment in large number of industries. Because of this income, productivity levels will increase and employment opportunities also increase in different industries that goes up, that increases. Hence, the underdevelopment equilibrium, the equilibrium trap and vicious circle poverty can be broken through the balanced growth. If we, once the vicious circle broken, the since there is a, circular connection, as I said, the circle will turn in from the poverty to balanced growth. That all around the development of the country, when we, investment made through the, balanced growth. When we investment put in at a time in not only one sector, with several sector, if we put investment that leads to increase the development of the country, particularly underdeveloped countries.